Anyone who has a white moonlight ex-girlfriend must be very familiar with the role of the one who takes over. But I really want to slap myself hard in the face. Because in the original story, I actually became the one being exploited without knowing it. She and I had 3 children, but none of them were my biological children. She and her male protagonist lived happily ever after, but I became the vicious male supporting role who prevented them from being together. In the end, I took the blame for them, went to jail, and died tragically in prison. This time I will never make the same mistake again. The story is about to begin. If you like it, remember to like and follow. David, I'm pregnant. Kelly blocked my door early on Monday morning, holding an ultrasound report. Going to work is already annoying enough, and traveling through time and space and still being a social animal is even more annoying. As soon as I went out and saw her, my mood became even worse. Congratulations. I turned sideways, avoided her, and walked straight to the elevator. She grabbed my coat and said pitifully, "It's yours." We were drunk that night and Alarm bells started ringing in my heart. Here she comes, she came with those lines. I was transported into a book of cuckold literature. In the original story, it was because of her words that I threw myself into her arms regardless of everything, handed her my salary card with both hands, and proposed to her passionately. After marriage, I obeyed her in everything and took good care of her. She lived up to my expectations and gave birth to 3 children with me. Our family seemed harmonious. Until one day, she came back with a contract and made me the legal representative of a company. I had no control over the company's operations, but when I was unaware, the company broke the law and I, as the legal representative, was naturally sent to jail. Instead of running around for me, she took out 3 paternity test reports, brought a signed divorce agreement, and found me in prison serving my sentence and filed for divorce. From her perspective, she had to marry me due to numerous difficulties. Now she finally has the chance to reunite with her leading actor, and I, the supporting actor, should give way. If I don't help them, I will be a vicious villain with heinous crimes. That night, because of my anger, I offended the boss of the prison. After being beaten up, my spleen ruptured and I died in prison. I became a vicious villain hated by everyone, but she lived happily with her true love. I came here through time and space, and you want me to repeat the same mistakes? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Thinking of this, I grinned, took the ultrasound report from her, and said in great surprise, "Really?" Kelly acted shy and punched my shoulder with her fist. "How can I lie to you about this?" With a red face, she recounted what happened that drunken night, and expressed her surprise and anxiety after discovering that she was pregnant. She was probably worried because she was not sure whether the father of the child was that person. "Then let's get married. Although I have no car, no house, and no money now, I will definitely make a lot of money for you in the future." Look, does this promise sound familiar? Do you like to listen to it? To my surprise, this time, even though I didn't even take out my payroll card before proposing to her, Kelly still agreed to my proposal. Although I didn't have much money in my salary card, her reaction made me feel something was wrong. In the original story, I was obsessed with Bai Yuiguang's beauty and never figured out why she asked me to take over until my death. So, this time, I have to figure out the reason behind it. After comforting Kelly, I sat at my workstation on time. After quickly finishing the work at hand, I clicked on the Baidu encyclopedia of Kelly's true love, Robert, the eldest son of the Robert family group. During the years that Kelly was entangled with me, she met Robert at some point and fell in love with him at first sight. It was only natural for her to dump a loser like me, but why did she give up the chance to marry into Robert's family and become a lady, and come back to me to take over? I don't understand it, so let's put it aside for now. Today is a big day. I dressed up carefully and went to redeem the sports lottery ticket in my hand. During dinner, the news was playing, "This city has issued the highest bonus since the founding of the country." As my mother served me rice, she sighed, "Another lucky person has jumped over the Dragon Gate." "Mom, I'm going to have dinner with Kelly's family this weekend to discuss the wedding." I interrupted my mother's sermon and dropped a bombshell. "You two are back together again?" My mother frowned. "Is this not a joke? Are you going to get married this time?" "For the last time, just this once." I whispered my promise. "Okay, whatever you think is fine." Although my mother has some opinions, she has always been supportive of me. Ever since my dad passed away, my mom seemed to have let it go. She no longer urged me to get married and have children, and always said, life should be lived freely and happily. I chose a famous local hotel as the meeting place for both parties. But Kelly pulled me to a corner and started to criticize me. My parents came to see you today. If you don't do well, don't blame my parents for not approving this marriage. I resisted the urge to walk away and reassured her, don't worry, the drinks and dishes are strictly controlled and there will be no embarrassment. As I hugged Kelly and approached the private room, Kelly's mother was talking loudly. Our Kelly's little face is worthy of being a star. Marrying your David is a blessing from your ancestors. Kelly's mother started to criticize my mother in a shrill voice. My dear, I have to say that the fact that you came to meet us dressed so casually today shows how little you value Kelly. My mother, wearing a newly bought dress and meticulously combing her hair, sat at the table, not daring to utter a word, with an apologetic smile on her face. Yes, 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 I like Kelly's little face, how can I not pay attention to it? But her mother insisted, since you are single, I won't bother with you. When the couple gets married, don't get too close to them. Aunt. I couldn't help but push the door open and interrupt Kelly's mother's sarcasm. My mother has suffered all her life and bought me a house for my wedding, but you want me to stop contacting my mother after marriage? I'm sorry, I can't do it. When I think of the ending of the story, where my mother's hair turned white overnight after learning that I was in prison, my heart aches. No one knows how my mother lived after my tragic death in prison. David, you can't say that. Your mother is not old yet and doesn't need your care. You should devote yourself to our Kelly and work hard to build your little family. If I have to stop interacting with my mother when I get married, then I won't get married. I will take care of my mother for the rest of my life. This is a rare opportunity, so I took the chance to let out the bad air in my chest. Seeing my angry face, Kelly, who was watching the show from the side, spoke up to stop me. Mom. Don't talk nonsense. David, let's sit down. She pulled me and made me sit down. Because of my angry expression, Kelly's mother's attitude became slightly restrained when discussing the details of the wedding at the dinner table. As for the new house, we need to put our Kelly's name on it, and we need to go to the notary office to notarize the gift agreement. The betrothal gift is 300,000 yuan, which we will not take back, and the hardware will be charged separately. We also need to buy a 300,000 yuan car and put it in the name of our Kelly's brother. Brother Kelly is going to get married in 2 years, so you should hurry up and make an effort to pay the down payment for a small house and put it in the name of Brother Kelly. The wedding banquet must be arranged in a 5-star hotel, and the cost of the banquet and drinks per table must not be less than 6,000. I will think of the rest later. Kelly's mother threw out a piece of red paper and read from it, I'm not happy with marrying my Kelly just for this. If not, we'll just leave. Only then did I realize that Kelly's family knew nothing about her and Robert. Otherwise, given her mother's greedy personality, there would be a big fuss. My dear, this is also. As soon as my mother opened her mouth, I interrupted her. Okay, that's easy to talk about. I pretended to be affectionate and looked at Kelly. As long as I can marry Kelly, all this is what I deserve. My mother looked at me suspiciously, and I patted the back of her hand under the table, signaling her to calm down. If my mom directly refuses and Kelly changes her strategy, I will have to think of another way. Kelly's mother was satisfied and winked at Kelly's father. The two of them called the waiter, ordered more dishes, opened a bottle of red wine, and finally ended the meal. I used the excuse of working overtime to avoid the task of sending them home and took my mother home directly. Alas, your father and I are sorry for you. You are under too much pressure to get married. Don't be so stubborn. As soon as my mother came in, she started sighing. Mom, we are just starting to talk about marriage now. Whether we get married or not is another matter. I curled my lips and said disdainfully. Nonsense, since we are talking about marriage, we must have a proper attitude. Everything should be discussed and negotiated, don't be willful. My mother scolded me and told me to talk to Kelly again. I agreed readily, but I was thinking about other things in my mind. When Kelly and I were discussing our marriage with great fanfare, the news broke that Robert's family was going to marry Linda's family. Linda Family Group is a company that is listed on the Forbes list. Perhaps, Robert, who was at a disadvantage in the fight for the leadership of the Robert family, wanted to seize the opportunity of this marriage, so he tricked Kelly into finding a successor as soon as possible. Only after dealing with Kelly can he become the legitimate candidate to marry into Linda's family. Kelly and Robert are finally together and must abandon Linda's family. The reason Robert filed for divorce was that he couldn't stand the condescending attitude of Linda's family from beginning to end. Thinking of the woman who was abandoned like me, a trace of compassion surged in my heart. This overwhelming wealth, oh no, this heavy humiliation, let me bear it. I was blocking the way for Lena, one of the Linda family's marriage candidates, on her way to work. Lena is even more petite and delicate than I imagined. As the youngest daughter of the Linda family, she had just graduated from school and took the initiative to go deep into the grassroots level of the Linda family group to experience life. Simple and unpretentious, she is easier to control than her sister Linda. So Robert's target is also her. I met her at a secluded riverside and threw her a stack of information about Robert's family, Linda's family, and even Robert and Kelly. She opened her innocent eyes wide, like a frightened deer. You, what do you mean? Lena's voice is soft and non-aggressive. I know why Linda's family wants to marry into Robert's family, and I also know that you're attracted to Robert's handsome face. I'll be frank, but Robert also approached you with a purpose. Now, Robert and Kelly's affair has been covered up. If you walk into the cage he has drawn for you, within 5 years, you will be a divorced wife and I will be a prisoner. I pointed out the manipulations Robert had made in the material and explained them in detail. As traditional businesses, the Robert family and the Linda family are being pushed forward in the tide of the new era. In the previous life, after Robert took over the family, instead of trying to find ways to reform and innovate, he started to have crooked ideas, took an unconventional approach, and engaged in illegal activities. If Robert gets promoted as he wishes, after he uses me, his next move will be to attack Linda's family. I don't know how much Lena understood, but after nodding her head wildly, she expressed her willingness to cooperate with me and even extended her hand to shake hands with me in a very formal manner. I've remembered everything you said. Take the information back and destroy it. Let's keep in touch. Lena trotted and got into her pink Bentley. That night, Linda, wearing an exquisite suit and high heels, came to the door. Little girl Lena really lived up to my expectations and sold me to her sister right away. My mother went out for a walk, and I went to open the door with foam on my head, wearing shorts and bare upper body. Linda looked me up and down, and then said with a slightly critical expression, "Xiaoxing praised you to the skies, and I thought you were some peerless handsome guy, but you're nothing more than this." I covered the top and the bottom and was very busy. You, what are you doing here? I was still very scared facing the future head of the Linda family group. In the original story, Robert finally won over Linda by some unknown method and achieved an alliance with Linda's family group. But if I go directly to Linda, she might throw me out the door. So I chose a roundabout route and passed the message to Linda by contacting the inexperienced Lena. I never liked Robert. The Robert family business is finished when it comes to him. Linda's high heels tapped on the ground, and she looked at the furnishings in my house with a slightly critical look. But why should I choose you? Linda's expression was full of disdain. If you were really capable, you wouldn't be living in this old, run-down house. Linda waved her slender fingers casually in the air, as if lightly measuring everything that had happened to me over the past 20 years. I took a deep breath and said seriously, "What if I tell you that I can help you acquire the Robert family group?" Since she came, it means she believes the contents of the information. She said this simply because she wanted to see what else I could bring to her. Although one shouldn't reveal one's cards directly when doing business, she is Linda. She is the strong woman who can turn the tide in this city. Now that she has become alert, if she figures out a way to deal with the Robert family group, where can I find support from this strong face and such things are not important at all. The tangible benefits in your hands are the most important. Linda walked to the table and stood still, pulled out a stool and sat down gracefully, raising her chin to signal me to continue. Robert's family businesses are mostly traditional manufacturing industries. The internal management of the group is chaotic and nepotism is rampant. There were signs of collapse long ago. It's just that in recent years, the Robert family has been able to survive by marrying into various families and maintaining relationships with several major families. It is the time for the two sons of Robert's family to get married. Robert has his eyes on you, and Gavin has his eyes on the Xie family. I know you are not an ordinary person and you would not want to marry a playboy like Robert. Now the Robert family has set their sights on a pie that they cannot eat, and they are eager to drag the Linda family down with them. But guess what? After he eats the cake, will Robert just turn his back on you? A smile finally appeared on Linda's delicately made-up face. She held her chin and said leisurely, "But these are just speculations, not enough to make me decide to swallow up the Robert family." I took out a stack of photos from the room and gently placed them in front of her and pointed at them. "What about Lena?" When Linda saw the contents of the photo, her face instantly turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. "Lena is a simple-minded person, so Robert chose her as plan B, which is perfect." What my finger was pointing at was the image of Lena looking at Robert with a sweet smile. "I'll have someone sort out the projects that the Robert family is currently involved in and send them to your email." Linda stood up and walked to the door. "I will also send you the offer from the Linda family group. Before I take over the Robert family, please help me keep a close eye on Lena." "Good." I saw Linda off calmly. After closing the door, he sneezed loudly. Ouch, I almost froze to death. As a beautiful girl, Linda married Robert because of Lena, so now she will definitely cooperate with me to protect Lena. Kelly quit her job early to stay at home to take care of her pregnancy and prepare for marriage, and I didn't tell her that I changed jobs. After her repeated urging, I took her to see the wedding house my mother had just bought for me. "When I give birth to the baby, I will sleep in the master bedroom with the baby, and you can sleep in the small room." Kelly was browsing the wedding houses and began to plan her life after marriage. "I'll ask your mother to hire a confinement nanny for me. My mother said that we can't have sex within a year after giving birth." I ignored it and pondered the project report Linda threw at me. "When will you take me to buy a car? The car I like needs to be reserved. You still have a lot of Provident Fund, right? Let's go see another small house. Hurry up and complete the conditions my mother has set, and we can get married." Kelly was in a hurry, and her stomach really couldn't wait much longer. "By the way, the boss of that profitable company I told you about last time is going to emigrate abroad and stop working there. I will introduce you to someone and you can take over the company." These days, I was generous and attentive to Kelly, which made her mistakenly believe that I had a lot of savings, and she even boldly planned the transfer company's plan for me in advance. "But I've never been involved in starting a company before. I'm afraid I'll lose money." I expressed my concerns. "It's okay, I believe you. You will bring me a good life, right?" Seeing that I was hesitating, Kelly played the tender card and leaned towards me. I didn't expect that she would go to such lengths to help Robert. I pretended that I had something urgent to do at the company, pushed her away, said sorry and left. I have to speed up and not let these two find out. As for who she is with tonight, I don't want to know at all. The big piece of cake that Robert has his eyes on is a new energy project of a listed company. As an old manufacturing company, Robert Family Group was already on the list of project suppliers. But Robert did not work from a serious perspective. Instead, he went to great lengths to make a bid that was lower than the market cost price and submitted it to participate in the bidding. The people who open bids for listed companies are not stupid. They know that even if they can get the price, there will definitely be hidden dangers of running out of money when the project progresses. But thanks to Robert's efforts, this project of the listed company finally fell into the name of Robert's Family Group. Robert's father was impressed by Robert's success in winning the project and began to take Robert to board meetings and get in touch with Robert's family confidential business. It seems that he is planning to train Robert as his successor. At Linda's instruction, the Linda Family Group also contacted Robert's people several times. Linda's passion grew stronger, and Robert became even more complacent, completely forgetting his true abilities. I anonymously gave Gavin the evidence that Robert bribed the project manager of a listed company and that several other companies deliberately bid for the project. I believe Gavin will be able to make good use of it and lend us a hand. Under Linda's instructions, I did all these tasks with Lena. Linda hopes to use this opportunity to wake up her sister's lovesick brain. Little girl Lena followed me around, waited in place, and collected a lot of evidence. When I returned to the company, I personally demonstrated video editing, which stunned the girl. Lena muttered to herself, "Sure enough, the most down-to-earth business wars are often not particular about details. Other people's business wars are terrible and deadly, our business wars are reasonable but sick." I didn't hear clearly, so I asked her what she was muttering. She shook her head and looked at me again with starry eyes. "David, tell me more, what other conspiracy Robert has?" Kelly and I's wedding went on as planned. But before that, due to various reasons, I did not fulfill the conditions I had agreed to when we discussed marriage. Kelly's mother was very unhappy about this. She thought I was not sincere in wanting to marry her daughter and even threatened to cancel the wedding. But before I could clap my hands to celebrate, Kelly tried to persuade me to calm down with kind words. I know she is anxious, but I am really curious about how she persuaded me. On the morning of the wedding day, I went to her house with my best man. Standing at the door was Kelly's younger brother, with a money-counting machine next to him. My mother said that if my brother-in-law really wants to marry my sister, he must pay the money and fulfill his promise. Kelly's brother said proudly, 500,000, not a cent more, not a cent less. 500,000? Wow. The lion is opening his mouth wide. The best man was Linda's male bodyguard. He was tall and strong, and he shouted and attracted the neighbors upstairs and downstairs to come and watch. This is the first time I've heard of a door-to-door bonus of 500,000. Isn't this selling your daughter? That is. The old men and women who were eating melons around were talking about it. Kelly's mother, who was very proud, couldn't stand the gossip of the neighbors, so she opened the door and walked out. This guy wants to marry my daughter, but he didn't give any betrothal gifts or house. He doesn't even have a house. This is just getting something for nothing. Her mother's statement immediately caused the crowd to look at me with condemnation. TSK, it turns out this guy is a marriage fraud. But I'm not panicking at all. Auntie, your daughter said that she would take the betrothal gifts and dowry back with her to buy a company and start a business, so I didn't give you any money. I paused for a moment and asked in a tactful way, didn't Kelly tell you this? Her mother's torch-like eyes instantly turned to Kelly, as if she wanted to eat her. Before the wedding, Kelly repeatedly urged me to get those things done, but I refused the company she and Robert wanted to sell to me on the grounds that I did not have enough funds. That company was originally used by Robert to do some shady business and settle accounts of unclear origin. Seeing that Robert was about to take the position of chairman of the Robert family group, he was naturally anxious to get rid of this tainted company. Kelly had no choice but to give up the relationship and lowered her marriage requirements again and again, only asking me to buy the company. Kelly's mother, who didn't get any benefit from marrying off her daughter, was about to go crazy. She walked into the room swearing, calling Kelly a giveaway, shameless and money loser at the top of her voice. On such a happy day, Kelly was about to be scolded and cry. In order to avoid delaying my plans for the day, I rushed in with my best man, carried Kelly, and left. On the way to the hotel, I comforted her, it's okay, your good days are still ahead. I don't know what Kelly was thinking of, but I know it definitely wasn't me. Anyway, she burst out laughing and said, yes, my good days are still ahead. It looks like the hard work will soon pay off. After the wedding today, you must remember to go and handle the transfer with your boss. She was thinking about the company's affairs. After finishing these, we can get the marriage certificate. This is what you promised me. Kelly touched the bracelet on her wrist, which was probably given to her by Robert. Her eyes sparkled and were full of longing for her future life. I pretended not to notice any of this. Kelly refused to stay with me, saying she was not feeling well and needed to touch up her makeup backstage. I stood at the door with a fake smile on my face to welcome the guests. Linda came in a high-end dress, which made her look out of place with the other people attending the wedding banquet. Why, you come to see the runaway groom? I pointed to Lena, who was busy off the stage, and said, your sister is over there. I'll take her home when this is over. Linda looked at me for a long moment and said, has anyone ever told you that you're actually quite handsome? Being handsome can't make a living. I laughed at myself and said, I still need you to take care of my mom. I'm afraid she will. Rest assured. Linda interrupted me and walked in gracefully in high heels, as proud as a black swan. Just like the rehearsal, before the wedding started, Kelly stood shyly outside the wedding hall waiting, while I stood in the dark and began to tell the love story between her and me. That day, she said she was pregnant, and I knew that this wedding was coming. Because of what I said, there was an uproar in the audience. Kelly kept it a secret so well that no one knew she was pregnant. After all, she has her own plans. Today, we are gathered here to celebrate the wedding of tonight's heroine Kelly. Today, I want to pay tribute to tonight's heroine Kelly, thank her, and share her joyful life. I also sincerely wish that she, from now on, will rot and stink together with her male protagonist. The spotlight just happened to converge on the door, which slowly opened, illuminating Kelly's face full of astonishment. What was scrolling on the big screen were the little details between Kelly and Robert. Lena gave me an okay gesture. I untied my tie and walked out of the darkness onto the stage step by step. Kelly has a lover in her heart, and I don't have the heart to take her away from me. I don't want Kelly to marry me while she's pregnant with Robert's child. All the relatives and friends present here are witnesses. From today on, I, David, have nothing to do with Kelly. From now on, you can get married separately and have nothing to do with each other. The wedding hall was in complete chaos, with relatives and friends on both sides holding up their cell phones to film the chaos on the stage. Even the experienced wedding host stood there in a daze. Kelly hired the MC at a high price. I was shocked that I had obeyed Kelly in everything before, but ruined my own wedding after the wedding banquet started. David, what do you mean? Kelly couldn't stand the stimulation and rushed up holding up the hem of her wedding dress. Literally, you and Robert are in true love, I will help you. I quickly took a half step back and avoided Kelly's slap attack. Me, and Robert, that's all in the past. Kelly was anxious. Today happens to be the day when Robert's family holds a board meeting. It is also today that Robert's father will announce the news that Robert will inherit the Robert family group. At this critical juncture, her affair with Robert was exposed, and one can imagine how Robert would blame her. Kelly, is what David said true? Kelly's mother quickly ran onto the stage and asked, are you really together with Robert from the Robert family? As I expected, Kelly's mother did not look angry but excited. You are pregnant with Robert's child, why did you marry this poor boy? You are confused. Kelly's mother pulled Kelly to leave the stage. Hurry, come with me to find Robert's family. You are the woman who is pregnant with Robert's child. Even if Robert's father despises our family, he will not let you and the child live out in the world. Kelly's mother seemed to have a way to control Robert's family, and said with certainty. Mom. Kelly, who still had some rationality, was a little overwhelmed. Now is not the time to talk about this. As for Robert, let's just finish the wedding first. David, I'll explain to you about Robert and I when we get back. Let's finish the wedding first. Kelly's voice began to sob. I raised my eyebrows. Why, do I look like a sucker? Kelly winked at the MC, and the incident was about to be exposed, so the wedding continued. I don't know why she is so arrogant, but I believe I will be obedient and continue. Before I could open my mouth to refuse, Linda, who was originally comforting my mother at the main table, stood up. A number of bodyguards in black filed in from the main entrance and started clearing the area. The bodyguards in black were experienced, and they quickly cleared out all the friends and relatives who were watching the fun. Even the MC was politely asked to leave. I'm sorry, I can't bear to see this star-crossed couple separated. Why don't I send you to find Robert right now? Linda came up and started to get close to my face. However, he is not in the Robert family group building right now. Linda kept it a secret. Do you want to go to the police station to look for him, or do you want to go to Robert's family mansion? Robert was taken away by the police at the inauguration ceremony, and Lena even showed me a photo of the scene. Kelly's mother looked alert. Who are you? What do you mean? Kelly swayed and seemed to be unable to stand steadily, and Lena kindly supported her from behind. Robert's crime has been exposed, and he will definitely spend a few years in prison. But your daughter is pregnant, so she can still get a share of the Robert family's expenses. Linda was kind enough to give me some pointers. I guess Gavin found a lot of evidence against Robert through the evidence I submitted anonymously. On this important day for Robert's family, Gavin took ruthless action, mercilessly dealt Robert a fatal blow, and made Robert's actions public. Kelly looked at me with a sad expression, as if she didn't believe me. David, how did you become like this? Damn it. It's already like this, and you still blame me. No, haven't you ever thought about why I should take over without hesitation? Why should I pay to pave the way for your love? Why would I take over a company that was so problematic? Are you stupid or am I stupid? Does a dog deserve to be left with nothing? Having said this, Linda glanced at me intentionally or unintentionally. Cough. I touched my nose with a little embarrassment. But if you don't want to, just say so. Why are you hurting me like this? Kelly covered her face and cried. When I knew nothing, I didn't see you not wanting to harm me. But I don't want to argue with her about those things anymore. The victim's mind always has 10,000 reasons waiting for me. You're on your own. After saying this, I walked out of the hotel with my dumbfounded mother, Lena who was peeking around, and Linda who was trying not to laugh, amid Kelly's mother's loud questioning. Alas, the money for the banquet has been paid, but the food is wasted. My mother was heartbroken. Don't sigh, Mom. The hotel is hers. The kitchen didn't prepare any food. Besides, I work for her, so she has to give me a free meal. I pointed at Linda. Well, after all, he is my man, I will be responsible to the end. Linda carried Lena, who had a smirk on her face, away. The news that Robert was put in the detention center spread like wildfire, and the stocks of Robert's family group plummeted as a result. Linda took the opportunity to buy a lot of sold-off stocks and started to merge Robert's family group. As expected, Kelly's mother took Kelly to Robert's family's old house. Of course, it's not so easy to enter Robert's family. Robert's father didn't even show up and directly ordered people to drive the mother and daughter away. Robert's father is naturally indifferent, so whoever can manage the Robert family well will be chosen as the head of the Robert family. Robert stepped down and Gavin naturally took over. After Robert's incident, Robert's father disliked anything related to Robert. After being quarreled with Kelly's mother and Kelly several times, the old man directly ordered people to smash and destroy Kelly's family, and also lost the jobs of Kelly's father and son. Kelly's mother made a big fuss at home, saying that she was going to come and settle the score with Robert and me. But I changed my job a long time ago and moved away. Kelly's mother took Kelly everywhere but couldn't find me at all. As for Robert, he was in prison and would not see anyone except his lawyer. Kelly's mother and Kelly naturally didn't even get to touch a corner of his clothes. After several rounds of tossing and turning, Kelly suffered from severe abdominal pain and was rushed to the hospital for treatment. Kelly's mother thought it was unlucky and refused to spend money to save the fetus. But I secretly used my connections to get Kelly treatment and saved the child. Robert will only serve a few years in prison and then be released. With this child, Kelly will wait for Robert. The two of them will be locked together for life. Closing the net? Receive. At Linda's order, I announced the time bomb on Gavin to the media. Gavin fell in love with his stepmother. Overnight, photos of Gavin and his stepmother were posted on media outlets of all sizes. I heard that Robert's father was so angry that he was hospitalized. Of course, this kind of gossip cannot be without Lena's strong support. As the saying goes, if you train a good apprentice, you may starve to death. Lena is even better than her teacher in searching for evidence from all aspects. Originally, Linda and I wanted to crush Robert's family in the project in an upright manner. But little girl Lena knocked on the blackboard and solemnly declared, a simple business war should be fought with the simplest methods. On social media, which is known for its emphasis on public order and good morals, there was soon a chorus of criticism. But even though they supported the couple, the Robert family was exposed and its stock price plummeted amid reports from various media outlets. Linda took the opportunity to follow up and added the last straw. She proposed a merger and acquisition plan to Robert's family group. The Robert family group immediately split into two factions, those who wanted to sell the company and make a quick buck and leave, and those who wanted to save the company out of sentimentality. But in the end, it couldn't resist Robert's father's words sell. Lena found the whereabouts of Robert's father's confidant from his childhood, and I found a way to tell him. Now Robert's father has nothing to worry about, so he decides to sell his company and go abroad to bravely pursue love. The liquidation team moved into the Robert family group with great efficiency. Before Gavin could get over the scandal and deal with his relationship with his father, the Robert family group was sold to the Linda family group. The Robert family members only got the money from their shares and parted ways with the group. The Robert family group building collapsed. My mom and I used the money we won from the lottery to buy 2 tickets for a luxury cruise and started traveling around the world. Before leaving, Lena handed me a letter. After watching it, I exclaimed, "Wow." When the ship reached Iceland, I took some photos of the aurora and sent them to Linda. I didn't expect her to reply to me. But early in the morning, the buzzing sound of my cell phone woke me up. "The new project information is on your desk." I smiled slightly, put away my phone and looked out the window at the endless sea. No matter when I return, no matter when it's morning or night,